In 2006, filmmaker Mike Judge released Idiocracy, a dark comedy that seemed ridiculous at the time. The story followed an average man, Joe Bauer, selected for a military hibernation experiment. Forgotten for centuries, he wakes up in the year 2505 and finds himself in a world where intelligence has all but disappeared. The government is run by a former wrestler and adult film star. Crops are dying because people water them with an energy drink. Language has devolved into a crude mess of slang, curses, and grunts. And everywhere Joe turns, society is drowning in laziness, ignorance, and self-indulgence. It was meant to be an absurd commentary, a joke, but today, nearly 20 years later, Idiocracy doesn't feel like science fiction. It feels like a documentary that just arrived early. Idiocracy wasn't fiction, it was a warning. We are watching the decay of intellect, empathy, and ethics in real time. And the most disturbing part is how quietly it is happening. We didn't need an alien invasion or nuclear war to bring us down. We did it to ourselves by trading wisdom for comfort, truth, and entertainment, and curiosity for convenience. Society is breaking down. Society is breaking down not because we lack resources or technology, but because we've lost our collective sense of direction. We've lost our common sense. We're addicted to distraction, obsessed with self-image, addicted to validation. We scroll endlessly, consume endlessly, and think almost never. We no longer value truth, only attention. We no longer reward integrity, only influence. We no longer strive for greatness, only popularity. Look at what we glorify today. Our heroes, they're not inventors, philosophers, or moral leaders. They're influencers, reality stars, and entertainers. We celebrate controversy over character. We elevate spectacle over substance. Education, once the foundation of civilization, has been hollowed out. We've replaced deep thinking with quick opinions. Students are trained to memorize, not to reason, to follow, not to question. And as a result, entire generations are growing up without the tools to think critically, challenge ideas, or discern truth from illusion. Meanwhile, technology, the very thing that should have elevated humanity, has instead become our pacifier. Artificial intelligence, automation, and instant access to information haven't made us wiser. They've made us lazy and lazier. Why learn when you can ask Google? Why reflect when a screen can distract you? Why feel empathy when outrage is easier and more rewarded? We are being programmed to prioritize self-gratification over contribution, programmed to believe morality is old-fashioned, programmed to follow the loudest voice, not the wisest one. Music glorifies crime and chaos. Movies glorify corruption. Social media glorifies narcissism. And so, piece by piece, our collective conscience is eroding. We're not encouraged to build, only to consume. Not to think, only to repeat. Not to connect, only to perform. And when anyone dares to question this system, they're labeled, silenced, or canceled. Thinking for yourself has become rebellion. Speaking truth has become dangerous. And being ethical is almost, well, radical. Make no mistake, this didn't happen overnight. It happened one compromise at a time. When we stop teaching our children values, when we stop holding leaders accountable, when we replace family dinners with phones and communities with algorithms, when we stop asking what is right and started asking what's in it for me. Society has become self-centered, short-sighted, and spiritually starved. We've mistaken pleasure for purpose. We've confused comfort with happiness, and we've replaced wisdom with noise. If you strip away the technology, the trends, the illusions of progress, we are seeing the same moral decline that has ended civilizations throughout history. Rome fell not because of its enemies, but because of its apathy. Great empires crumble not from invasion, but from internal decay. When truth no longer matters, when discipline disappears, when pleasure becomes the highest pursuit, collapse is inevitable. But collapse is not destiny. Every generation has a choice. Every civilization has a turning point, and every individual has power. The antidote to idiocracy isn't anger, it's awareness, it's education, it's accountability, and most importantly, it's action. We change our future not by shouting louder, but by living smarter, not by condemning others, but by transforming ourselves. And here's where it begins. First, think again. Challenge what you see, what you hear, and what you're told. Don't let the news, the trend, or the crowd decide what you believe. Learn to separate fact from fiction and truth from manipulation. Again, start thinking on your own. At one point, you had it, get it back. Don't just take what everybody else is telling you as fact. Learn for yourself. Reclaim your attention. Every minute you give to endless scrolling or outrage is a minute stolen from your life, from your growth, from your future. Read more, listen more deeply, create instead of consuming. Use technology, but don't let it use you. Third, rebuild community. Real change happens face to face, in families, in classrooms, in neighborhoods. We heal society by reconnecting with one another, by being personable, by being face to face, also by teaching children values, kindness, and discipline, by showing that wisdom, respect, and morality, they still matter. Fourth, lead by example. Be the kind of person this world needs more of. Ethical, informed, compassionate, strong. Your actions are louder than any algorithm. Fifth, choose contribution over consumption. Ask yourself, what am I giving to the world? Not what am I getting from it? The more you give, time, knowledge, care, service, the stronger society becomes. We're standing at a crossroads. One path leads to deeper ignorance, division, and decay, an idiocracy made real. The other leads to renewal, to a society that thinks, cares, and creates again. But make no mistake, no one's coming to save us. No politician, no celebrity, no app. AI is not going to do it. It starts with us. It starts with you. It starts with me, with the next choice we make, the next value we defend, the next child we teach. Idiocracy warned us of a future where intelligence and integrity were lost, but we still have time to prove it wrong. If we wake up, if we reclaim our humanity, our decency, and our will to grow, then maybe, just maybe, the smartest person in the room won't have to have come from the past. They'll come from us.